It's your boy DJ Vision. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy. All right, let's get directly right up into this. We ain't gonna skip it. I ain't taking no time. Let's get it.
Introduce you to the exact reason why we have the Second Amendment.
Moments ago, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called on all of its citizens who were ready to defend the country from Russian forces to come forward, saying Kyiv would issue weapons to everyone who wants them. Russia launched an all-out invasion of Ukraine by land, air, and sea, the biggest attack by one state against another in Europe since World War II.
So how bloody do you think this can get? How much fight do you think the Ukrainians have here?
I think Ukrainians have 150%, 500% fight. I mean, they're going to fight like hell. And actually, they just passed a law in which guns are allowed to be used in freely in Ukraine. So that is a preparation. So if every Ukrainian takes a gun, Russians don't have a prayer. I mean, the military can fight, but it would be Ukrainians, I think, really ready to die.
So I don't know if I'm tripping, but is CNN now pro two-way? No, they're not. They're still very much anti-two-way, but they know they will look silly trying to go up against what this woman is saying, considering everything that's going on right now. I have a very good friend of mine who, whenever he's having conversations with people about the Second Amendment, he likes to ask these series of questions to get them to understand the reality of what the Second Amendment is about. First question he asks is, so do you ever think that you'll see World War III in your lifetime? And considering everything that's going on right now, most people say yes. Then the next question he asks is, so if you happened to be in World War III, would you prefer to have a gun or not have a gun? Most people say, yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not saying that we're absolutely going to see World War III. But one thing we have to understand is there's a reason why we have the Second Amendment. And there's a lot of people that don't like to accept the reality. See, when I talk about the Second Amendment and how the Second Amendment was put in place to protect our country against foreign or domestic tyrannical governments, people look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, where are you getting this from? This could never happen here. No. Come on, we're a modern progressive society. Well, allow me to introduce you to 2022, considering everything that's going on right now. The irony is, Ukraine's gun laws, comparatively speaking to its surrounding countries, gun laws aren't as restrictive as the other countries. But there's something to be said about the fact that they were strict enough that they have to loosen them so that people can now go out and buy firearms to protect themselves against a foreign threat. There are nothing but sharks out there. The only thing that they respect, the only language they speak is power. It's no different than you having to deal with criminals here in America, where the only thing they understand and the only language they speak is power. The Second Amendment was written for that very thing. Was designed for us to have what we needed, because the founding fathers who put that in place, the reason they wrote the Second Amendment, they just got done fighting a war against a foreign government that they thought was tyrannical. And so they said, well, if we're going to have this thing here that we value and we cherish, which is based and predicated on the idea of freedom and self-reliance, we need to protect the very thing that they would need to fight back against a government, whether it was domestic or foreign, from trying to take that away from them. And that would be the Second Amendment. For all these years, you have this government that you relied on to keep you safe. And they said they would keep you safe. And they would do this by having gun laws and all these restrictions on people's ability to have firearms, only for them to later on tell you, hey, guess what? We're relaxing those laws now. Go out and buy all the guns that you want because you're going to need them to protect yourself, because honestly, we can't do anything for you. As a matter of fact, we actually need your help to fight the people who are trying to invade us now. That should be a prime example for everyone here in America. See, right now, we don't have to get the government's permission to do these things because we have a Second Amendment right here in this country. So take advantage of the fact that here in America, we have an unrestricted right to exercise our Second Amendment, because most people don't have that luxury, but we do. So go out there, buy a gun, learn to use it safely, learn to use it effectively. There's so much information out there for people to ascertain and get in order to learn to use a firearm effectively and safely. That's what we need to be doing in this country, because whether you like it or not, reality is reality. There's nothing you can do about it. You can talk about how moral and virtuous you are and how a gun signifies violence and you're anti-violence. Cool. Be that way all you want. But when it comes down to understand the reality, at some point it's going to make you have to flip that switch to defend that thing that you say you are. Because the thing that would be coming for you doesn't care about your morality. It doesn't care about your compassion.
Right.
It doesn't care about your grace. The only thing it respects is equal or greater power. That is it. And that, for a lot of people, for the vast majority of people, is what the Second Amendment represents. There are some people out there who see you as a target. There are people out there who see you as a victim. You're going to have to defend that, because with freedom comes responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is defending it. It doesn't just go on autonomously. Freedom has to actively be defended. It sucks. I'm the most compassionate person in the world. I really am. I hate that aspect about me to a degree sometimes, but I also understand reality. And with reality means that I'm going to have to flip that switch at one point. I may not like it, but in order for me to maintain the thing that I consider beautiful, the thing that I consider to be extremely important, whether that be my ability to live and be compassionate and to have grace and so forth and so on, I have to still be able to protect that. That's just the way things are. It is what it is. So you can't wish upon a star and hope that things just get better. Freedom has to actively be protected. Period. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't...
But wait. So I'm back with another hit. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy, DJ Vision. Go ahead and share this link out for y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining. Anybody want to come on, they can come on. Say hi if you're here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Speak, say hello, hi if you are here. So we got at least one person, but one is better than none. What I am going to do is get up on some of these good old gun law. But before I hit the gun law part, just want to give you a little bit of taste of what we got going on overseas. That's all I want to do. Give you a little taste of what we got going on overseas. Let's see here. Appreciate y'all for joining. You know, really appreciate y'all. But we talking about we getting into some nitty gritty today. You know what I'm saying? Got to give you a little sneak peek of what's going down.
This is moving into a bit more CQB. It looks like from the last part we're moving in, and I think we're in with the Ukrainian army this time, jumping in between those and the separatists. Let's check it out. Like some 300 shit right there. Yeah, so this is definitely Ukrainian army, because I'm assuming from the... Obviously, they've got all matching body armour. There's a guy who gave me the plate on his arse. He's got like an armour plate on his... covering his ass.
So you don't get shot in the ass.
So I'm not sure if these are the guys that ended up getting called the cyborgs. So they were obviously the guys that held out for so long. The guys going with big anti-matter rifles as well. It's huge. Look at the size of it. What's it, about 20 millimeter?
Mm-hmm.
Almost looks homemade.
Insane.
So they've obviously got various floors covered, so it doesn't look like there's any windows in that floor, but there does on the floor above, maybe below, there's various rooms as well. They seem to be very well dug in. Oh, there is in there, yeah.
Got the whole building in.
You're not hearing much incoming. What, is that incoming? Fires are plenty of rounds down, and then you've got the one guy in the corner shooting over his head. Again, it's hard to tell if there's an assault coming in or if they're just firing. So if you've seen the previous parts, you've seen the separatists moving through that terminal part of the building. So they're obviously, as they fall back, they have positions, and then they're moving through. Geez, the launchers are getting bigger and bigger. It almost looks like a AT4 almost, but bigger. That looks exactly like an AT4. Okay, it's hard to tell. Is this dust that's getting kicked up? Is this just... what is it? Again, it's hard to tell. Is there any requirement for this many guys to be firing at the same time? Or are they just wasting ammunition? So I'm assuming they built these positions up for the windows. I think I can see sandbags and the rocks. It's tearing down. Yeah. Definitely seems like a cluster. Again, it makes me wonder, are they winning the firefight or are they just firing? Dude's firing now. Look at the backblast. He wasn't even in the room. Half was in. It's hard to tell. You can hear rounds hitting the building, but I'm not 100%. Again, it's quite a sustained contact as well. Unless you can see people moving on a flank, or it's the separatists might just be dug in on the other side, might just be held up in a building the exact opposite, and they're just firing at each other. I doubt he's got enough targets in the open to be able to do that. Yeah, so I'm assuming there's no way he could see enough people moving around that he's got enough targets to keep firing like that. Again, look at the building, look how it's been torn up. See, you've got the stairs completely torn up. it just seems like they're firing for the sake of firing. Again, just reminding people where they are. They must have went through some ammunition, that's for sure. There's that armor plate. He's wearing an armor plate on his ass. Dude's obviously very worried about getting shot in the ass. Obviously, it's hard to tell about the command and control as well because I don't understand Ukrainian. How's that fire started? Is that about a tracer or something? Where's he firing it?
Right, I don't know.
Madness. So is this a separatist tank game? Do we know? Yeah, look at that. So this is obviously one of the separatists.
But I was just giving y'all a sneak little preview. I'm definitely not about to overload my my live with that kind of shit. But this is where we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go here to directly here to here. And let's talk about it. I appreciate y'all
Veteran
for doing like,
8888.
follow, share,
We got
and
some more
subscribe.
2A news I'd like to freshen y'all up on a little bit. Hope everybody's having a great week so far. Things are always crazy. There's always going to be a war drum to get beat somewhere with everything that's going on. So I want to break down an article from GOA. This particular article was written by Aiden Johnston, and this one was published on the 9th of February, 2022. So this is still pretty fresh, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Violence Against Women Act and some of the things that have kind of changed and transpired in regards to that. Before we get started, I just want to kind of clue you guys in real quick. I don't know if y'all know about our podcast, but we've got a great podcast that we do each week. It's called Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. Matt, the owner of Ballistic Inc., and myself, we sit down and talk about various topics for about an hour each week. We post those here on Iraq Veteran every Saturday, so make sure you check out our podcast. That's another way that you can kind of get into our minds a little bit. And we go into 2A stuff as well as just general life and, business. We do these things called Fight or Flight, where we'll just taste various things, different types of food, alcohol, what have you, hot peppers. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff on LLP. So we would be honored and very much appreciate it if you check out our podcast. All right. So shameless plug for the podcast. All right. We're going to get into this article. Anti-gun politicians are close to passing VAWA, or Violence Against Women's Act. Anti-gun politicians from both sides of the aisle have been pushing an anti-gun version of the Violence Against Women's Act, a bill designed to appear nice on the outside, but with infringements on your rights on the inside. VAWA has several massive anti-gun provisions, which would put both men and women in a more dangerous position, one of those being disarmed. GOA has been fighting this anti-gun bill since 2019, but anti-gunners in Congress are closer than ever to having it pass. We need you to fight back against this today. The good news. VAWA passed the House with tons of gun control last year, but this new version is very different. Because of pressure from the grassroots, 4 out of the 7 gun control provisions originally included have been removed, including federal grants to fund firearm seizures, a new form of red flag gun confiscation orders, and an expansion of the Lattenberg misdemeanor gun ban, also known as the boyfriend loophole. Removal of the so-called boyfriend loophole has made the anti-gun White House and the far left furious. Democrats negotiating this new version of VAWA are being viewed as though they sold out to the White House. In fact, Biden was on national TV giving a speech about gun control just last week, and you guessed it, he was plugging the so-called boyfriend loophole even while this deal was being cut. All right, so before we get to the bad news, it's worth sort of mentioning here that when you look at these situations, like we already know that red flag gun confiscation orders are a terrible idea, and they put law enforcement and average American citizens at risk. They are not a good idea. They never were a good idea. Now, people would say, oh, well, but they get their due process in time. You get your day in court, and you have to explain yourself. Yeah, but see, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? If someone comes into my home at 2 o'clock in the morning and kicks in the door, serving some red flag warrant that I was the subject of some phantom court I didn't even know that I was a part of, that I didn't even get to attend and defend myself in such phantom court. And then these people are going to come in my, house in the middle of the night and potentially, end up getting into some crazy kerfuffle, which could even lead up to some gun battle, which has happened in a lot of cases, right? I mean, you get up in the middle of the night, someone's kicked your door in, you're half asleep, you're not thinking, oh, well, what if it's the police? You're a law-abiding person. You haven't done anything wrong. In most cases, most people that have red flag laws, confiscation orders put against them, most of them are pretty average people that haven't done anything wrong. But just because someone was able to convince a court to pass down a gun confiscation warrant through some phantom court, now all of a sudden you're guilty until proven innocent. Oh, but you have to survive the police encounter first. And we've seen the track record for red flag laws is pretty terrible, right? Like law enforcement and civilians alike perish and are killed and or injured in these situations. There has to be a better way, and it certainly is not red flag orders. It's pretty crazy. All right, so the bad news. Unfortunately, 3 terrible anti-gun sections are still included in this new VAWA. If the bill passed, the ATF would work with your local law enforcement to launch criminal investigations into each NICS denial, which 9 out of 10 times is a false positive denial of a law-abiding citizen. It would begin the deputizing of local law enforcement and attorneys to act as agents of the ATF. Now, that's scary, right? So the ATF's like, well, we don't have enough people to do our dirty work. So, hey, Deputy Snuffy over here at Littletown, USA, guess what? You're in the ATF now.
Hey,
congratulations. Here's your badge. By the way, we're going to need you to go take those guns from that person in that house since you're deputized now. and Snuffy's going, what? You want me to what? I mean, you don't know who that guy is, So it's going to put a lot of people in danger, civilians and law enforcement alike. Now, it's not to say that, that there's not some valid reason, right, that someone would have to be disarmed, an extremely, extremely clear and cut case valid reason, right? Like, okay, that person just, unlifed. Can I use the word killed? Is that allowed, Chad? All right. Someone unlifed a bunch of people, right? Now, okay, it's safe to say that if you unlife a bunch of people, that you probably, if you're in the wrong, you don't get to take your gun to jail with you, okay? I mean, like, okay, or if there's some really terrible cardinal sin that you've committed that's so terrible that 9 out of 10 or 12 out of 10 people would go, yeah, that's terrible. I mean, duh. I mean, there are situations where, if you've committed such a horrible, terrible criminal act, you don't get to keep your guns. I mean, that's the logically sound, right? I mean, and when Scalia was saying, well, the Second Amendment has limits. Yes, there are limits to the Second Amendment. What he meant by that, I believe, now, this is the way that I would look at his particular mindset, is, well, yeah, there has to be the basic limit in that, well, yeah, you have the Second Amendment right, but if you just murdered someone, if you just unlifed somebody and you're totally in the wrong, you don't get to take your guns to jail with you. Like so that's what they mean by reasonable. It's not reasonable for a criminal to take their guns to jail with them, right? There are situations where society agrees that if you commit some terrible crime that, yeah, dude, I mean, it is what it is. But this isn't that. This is far more, far reaching to the average person than something simple like that. What?
So, synopsis of some updates on the laws on gun control. But what I really wanted to get into was about, okay, what are you going to carry? What are you going to carry? Something I'm carrying, and something I have. Defense and carry. So work defense. Let's see here. I'm doing basically one round, but I'm trying to pick a more recent one.
Hey, Hickok 45.
This is the best I'll be able to do for now, but let's get it. That's how we gonna do it.
War II era issue. Featured on today's NRA Gun of the Week, the TSAS 1911A1 U.S. Army is a faithful reproduction of the iconic sidearm that served the U.S. military for 75 years, and it's one that many enthusiasts can afford. Any fan of military firearms knows that military-issue 1911s are some of the most popular collector guns on the market, and they command premium prices, up to and including a Singer Manufacturing-made 1911A1 that sold at auction for $414,000 in December 2017. While most of us may not have the coin to shell out for even a beat-up issue 1911, TSAS offers virtually the same gun in factory new condition for less than $400. How is this possible? Well, TSAS is a Turkish manufacturer, one of several that have been exporting affordable handguns of all types to the United States. This includes another historical reproduction made by TSAS, the Regent, which is a faithful reproduction of the Browning High Power. Like the original, the TSAS 1911A1 is built on a steel frame, slide, and barrel. The barrel is hammer forged, and all metal components are treated with the correct military-style parkerized finish. Of course, this is the A1 variant of the 1911 adopted by the U.S. military in 1926. So details like the short trigger, arched mainspring housing, lengthened grip safety spur, frame cutouts, and shortened hammer spur are all correct for a period M1911A1. And the brown plastic grips on the gun are reflective of a World War II era issue pistol. Unlike many replicas of GI-style 1911s, one of the nice features of the TSOS 1911A1 is the lack of any gratuitous branding on either the slide or frame. In keeping with the finishing trends of wartime production, the TSOS features a slab side design, with only a simple Model 1911A1 U.S. Army roll mark located on the left side of the slide, near the spot where a maker of a World War II era 1911 would stamp their manufacturing information. In fact, the only mention that this is a TSOS-made reproduction is hidden on the upper part of the frame, just forward of the slide stop lever. The opposite side of the frame is marked with an import stamp and serial number, required by today's firearm import laws. As with any faithful reproduction of the GI issue 1911, this TSOS clone has all the flaws too. The sights are the same as wartime 1911A1s, featuring a low, thin front blade and a low-profile rear that can make aiming difficult. The period-correct single-side thumb safety is also harder to engage, as the ledge is only located on the forward part of the safety lever. The vertical slide serrations at the rear are also correct, but they may not be as tactile as many offerings today. One of the biggest complaints when it comes to affordable 1911s is in terms of reliability.
There you go.
The military will rely on them to fight.
That's the reason why we have the Second Amendment.
In a former school building in southeast Ukraine, military officers are training local residents in urban warfare.
Ну, это то, о чем надо было договариваться. Ми їх більше навчаємо тактики ведення бою в приміщенні, тобто відпрацювання захвату всієї будівлі. Вони займаються своїм життям, працюють на заводах, працюють вчителями, економістами, бухгалтерами. Але якщо нам знадобиться і ці люди прийдуть до нас захищати нашу країну, вони вже будуть знати, що їм робити.
The Ukrainian government aims to recruit around 130,000 civilians to bolster its defense if a war with Russia breaks out. The military will rely on them to fight. For some of these civilians, this is the first step in becoming part of what the government calls the Territorial Defense Force.
На ощупь, все руками, в темноте, освещение слабое, все правильно, все верно. Именно память руками должна быть, чувствовать, где потать, где защелкнуло, где на место.
Можна опять достать і поставити.
Так точно. Це гражданська людина, вона должна руками ощутити кожну, щоб ця деталь повинна працювати тільки так. З другого разу вже краще.
Запропонували з дітьми прийти, тому я вважаю, що мій син повинен розуміти, в чому справа йде військова. Приїхали і Це подобається.
Volunteers also learn how to apply first aid and to identify explosives.
Противопехотная заградительная мина ОЗМ-72. Одно из самых подлых творений Советского Союза.
Мне кажется, человек невозможно быть подготовленным. Ну, поэтому всегда и учимся. Ситуации бывают разные.
While untested in battle, these men and women are determined to defend their city.
The biggest lie told about the Second Amendment is that it's about hunting.
Okay.
And
And then
hunters
you
would
can argue
say,
what a line is. Okay, let's pick it. Let's say 3. If you haven't hit the deer with 3 shots, you're a pretty lousy shot. That deer deserves to get away. If you have a big magazine, you'll solve your problem. You still have to pull a trigger. But if it's 30 bullets or 20 bullets or 10 bullets before you run out, I would suggest the deer is, God wants that deer to
But
live.
according to gun owners, what you just described would ban most guns that hunters use today.
If that's what they're using, for God's sakes, why don't they use dynamite?
The Second Amendment is about defense, whether it be defense against a wild animal, another person, or tyrannical government, foreign or domestic. When you point stuff like this out, they'll turn around and say that the Second Amendment said the militia. Which one is it then? In one breath, the Second Amendment is about hunting. In the other breath, it's about the militia. So the Second Amendment was written to protect the militia's ability to hunt deer? No, that's stupid. Situations like what you just watched in this first video is the exact reason why we have the Second Amendment. So instead of scrambling last minute to get people trained on basics like how to operate a rifle, imagine having an entire population of people with not only their own guns, but the ability to shoot them effectively because they've been already doing it and using them and shooting them for decades. In 1791, when the Second Amendment was ratified, the word militia meant ordinary citizens, not some amorphous group of beings that existed apart from the military or the citizenry. And well-regulated didn't mean regulated by the government. It meant well-armed and well-functioning. That is why the last line of the Second Amendment says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Because the only way the people can stand up against a tyrannical government is to be well-armed enough to effectively fight back against what is attacking them. If the thing attacking them is a tyrannical government, it's kind of hard to use the weapons that you would need to do this when the only people who have those weapons is the tyrannical government you're defending yourself against. People gawk at the idea that the American government would ever become so tyrannical that the people would need to fight back against it, and that the Second Amendment is unnecessary. But have you ever stopped to think that maybe the reason it's never happened is because we have the Second Amendment? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think the militia is. If and or when the day comes where someone is threatening the safety of you, your family, or your country, in that moment, whether you like it or not, you are the militia. And you're going to be damn glad that you had a gun to protect yourself with instead of running to the government asking for one last minute. That's even if you get the chance to do that. Or the very government you're asking for a gun isn't the same government you're trying to defend yourself against. Think about it. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you.
Talking about you.
Also, if you want to know where to find...
I get it. But not done yet. Not done yet. show you something real quick. Show you something real quick. Quick.
And free out of your damn, hit free here, down, get free. Hit free here, get free. That's right. TurboTax Free Edition is free. See details at TurboTax.com.
There's one that never attack. Crystal was just waiting for the French people, and the French never come.
Whoa. This is surreal, man.
It was very heavy, guys.
They look heavy.
Yeah.
I could tell. I'm not going to.
That, you know, Haiti was divided in two parts. And Pétion at the south and Christophe at the north. So when Pétion knows Christophe gets sword, he gets paralyzed, he wants to come in to attack the king Christophe. Christophe imagine, he said, I'm the young guy, strong guy. I don't want to die by handing at me. He killed himself by several bullets. And the same night, people take the body of King Christophe to bury him from here. And secretly, then nobody knows where Christophe is.
His remains is in here.
Yeah, it's buried secretly. Nobody knows. And also, the architect built this, and Christophe killed them when they finished to build the Sanssouci and Citadel. Why they killed them? One day, the architect said, Christophe, now I'm finished to build the castle for you. Now I want to go to see my family. And Christophe gave them one flag. He said, when you're almost at the front of the sea, put the flag at the top for me to see where you are. And Christophe killed them. They blew up people up with the bullet, the cannons, because they don't want them go to the country to build up another fortress like this. They don't want them go with the architect, the plant of the castle to sell the French people. And that's the reason he killed these people. To build this, can you imagine? No cement. He used limestone, sugarcane molasses, animal blood, sand, the blood of the cow. He put all things together to build this. No cement. It takes 14 years to build this. Citadel built 1805. The palace down there built 1806. After 2 years after independence, 1804. And also, I don't know even, you go Savannah, Georgia, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
You can see statue of King Christophe there because he helped American people get freedom in Savannah, Georgia.
In 1779, during the Battle of Savannah, Georgia, the French agreed that they would help the Americans during the Revolutionary War. So they recruited 500 plus free men of color who volunteered to join the French in their fight and head to America to ally with the Americans. They were remembered in a monument that is in Savannah, Georgia today.
Because of the revolution here of Haiti defeating the most powerful army in the world, they had to make the Louisiana Purchase because...
Exactly.
This was their prize right here. This is where all the money was coming from right here.
Once they lost it.
And also,
they couldn't maintain.
They lost interest of Louisiana.
So he built it on top of the mountain. He built this on the wax. No foundation. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
You can see every windows has one cannon will get inside. Everywhere we come, they see.
Wow. So just in case, no matter where you at, this is a real deal fortress here. Oh, this is a gunpowder house.
To use the food to use the cannons.
In the storage.
Yeah. You see the cannonballs?
Yeah.
We have more than 50,000, but we have so many in the grounds. Never use. Why? Citadel never attack. Christophe was just waiting for the French people, and the French never come.
Whoa. This is surreal, man.
It was very heavy, guys.
They look heavy.
Yeah.
I could tell I'm not going to be able to budge any of this. Oh, I'm going to be able to. Yeah, this is a good 50, 60 pounds right here.
They said that over 20,000 people died building this.
Yeah, 20,000, more than 20,000.
More than 20,000 people died
To
building
build it. We don't work for money. We're just working for food. And one soldier look like a 10 people.
Wow, look at this, guys.
And this is the village is called Plenzino. You see the sea over there?
Yeah.
It's called Bedlakil. Enemy coming from the sea. Before we come, they blew up you with the cannon. So the cannon shot like 4 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so here we go.
This is the
This is not the original door, he said, guys. This is afterwards. Okay, so let's go in.
When you get inside, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's actually
Because when it's willing, the water enter inside the wall. You can touch the wall, please. It's very cool.
The earthquake never really affected this place.
No, it was cracked. This part you see built like a ship.
Okay.
But it never. And this is where people like do ceremony, voodoo sometimes. Also, every president come here too.
Is every president has to
Yeah,
come,
come
here
here.
to this area?
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Why they do that?
They do come to play with the spirit.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
And then
Probably get the shit their ancestors. You know what I'm saying?
and it'll come in here.
Yeah.
And then have you seen it before?
Also, Jovenel come here too.
He's on there, and he's actually from the area too.
Yes, to play. They wanna help, you know. They want to have spirit help. Okay, let's go.
And you can see the alcohol they were drinking is a bunch of babaku here. Guys, before you trip over Haiti and its culture like voodoo, this is something that is done all over the South America in terms of Latin people do this and white people do this. It's witchcraft or whatever you may want to call it, but it's part of people's cultures.
Where they make the food for the soldiers. One soldier
Well-
look like 10 people. We're just working for food.
Do you know what they were eating there? What type of food or what they would make?
They eating maize.
Some corn. They were eating
Yeah.
corn.
Aimule.
Yeah, we'll put the fire right there. Or anything. He was on the horse, and that's what happened. If you're wondering what happened.
No, it ripped when I got on the motorcycle.
Oh, you had a motorcycle? It ripped. All right, we just had to just get that out the way because I know you're gonna be like, "Yo, what happened?" We brought it up, okay? It's better than to bring it up for the thousands of comments. This man, he was really wanted to take his clothes off. Wow, yo, this was really well built. Oh man.
Of the skin. But anyone.
This was really built well, guys. As you can see, the different architecture. They're using an arc system to create support. Oh, is this original wood?
Yes.
Wow.
It has more than 200 years.
I can touch it.
Yeah, you can. It's called a mahogany wood.
Mahogany wood.
Yes. And to use the cannon, you see, they where they make the fire. This is where they make the fire, and if someone take a little bullet, push in the front of the skin. But anyone never use.
They never used the
Yeah, when they finish to shoot them, the smoke go down the chimney.
The sun. And that's why there's a hole there. So they well.
And also, before we shoot the cannon, you're supposed to give the cannon directions. You see, over there we have one bullet. Just to, over there you have another one. look, just to move.
Oh, okay.
And you see this one supposed to stay on the front.
Okay, so it's there.
Yeah, for not damage this.
This is crazy history. The people who did this did a real good aim. This guy's actually been here before. So why did you come again?
I love it, man. I mean, this is experience, bro. You know what? I'll be honest with you. The first time I came, I really didn't have a tour guide per se, and I'm learning more history just by having him along with us. And I took a lot of pictures last time, but I got more video this time.
Okay,
I'm actually videoing, and I can soak it up a little bit more. It's amazing, bro. There's really no words to explain it. Our ancestors did this. The biggest armies in the world couldn't take them out. You feel me? But people that still fit on the country, you know what I'm saying, today, and still standing tall. I mean, it says something about the resilience of the people. I had to come back. Plus, I want to see what kind of footage you finna put up.
I didn't want to pad on the pants.
Napoleon want to come back to attack the King Christophe. Before he come, he sent the spirit to come here to look how many soldiers Christophe have here.
Spies.
Yes. And they sit down with the spirit here, and Christophe tell the soldiers come to send me hello. And the soldiers come in about the green shit. They have a many uniform. Coming to salute the King Christophe. And the same people go back quickly to change another uniform, to go about the yellow t-shirt. But people got a mask, the spirit cannot see it's the same people. It's the same people. Go back quickly 10 times. And the spirit go back to Napoleon. He said, don't attack Henry Christophe. He has a full power.
He met the spies here.
Yeah.
His soldiers would come.
Yes.
And they would keep coming back in different uniforms.
Yeah, different uniform.
And the spies couldn't understand it was different people.
Christophe have a full soldiers and not shoot.
Wow.
He had more soldiers than he had.
Wow. And they didn't come back, but this now is a staple of Haitian power. It's like a poneglyph or something.
Other military that tried to invade.
After the French lost this colony, you got the English that wanted it bad.
Yeah, they tried to come in.
They tried all
defeated them because they were able to see them coming in.
This is the office quarters.
Yeah, this is barracks.
Yeah, and down there, that was a jail. The name of the prison is called Forget You. When you're inside of the prison, you can't stand up. You stay like this. Construction like the prison that was.
It's so low, there's no way of standing up. So you have to crawl, but you have to be on your back or be your stomach crawling.
This is the waste of the concrete because they'll never finish.
Okay.
But someone think inside the concrete, Christophe Berry. That was the 12.
Oh, this is the original one.
When you sit here, you got a good voice from down there.
Oh,
you see? It's very
wow, it has the crest.
Yeah, damn, look at that.
It's cool. The iron one, when they shoot Haley bullet into your heart, you cannot touch them again. This one never hurt.
Oh, so it was different.
Yeah, it was different.
The way it was built with the metal and frame.
It costs a lot of money.
So it doesn't get hot. Probably costs $2 million for me. Oh, wait a minute. You can see the bottom. So this is how they would twirl it around the cannon.
Yeah, to shoot you.
All right, guys, we're heading out. We're leaving the fortress right here, and we're heading to the palace, okay? Come inside. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tour so far, but I just want to make this clear, all right? If you're going to be doing this tour, you need to negotiate prices ahead of time when it comes to dealing with morals and dealing with entry. If there's anything involved that's going to get you there from getting a tour guide, you need to negotiate prices. Do not wait to the end. We had some issues with the motorcyclists. He did have a good time. It's just something that might get annoying. So I'm telling you now, negotiate early. This is something you're supposed to do anywhere. Anyway, but we just forgot to do it. We forgot to do it. We forgot to ask. It cost us a couple extra dollars, but it's going to some good people.
But I appreciate y'all for joining. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.